way of finishing this war.
This is the Neoliberal Round Podcast. This is the live press conference at the White House between Zelensky and Donald Trump. The press is asking Trump and Zelensky, president in the Oval Office. Donald Trump has opened the press conference saying that substantial progress is being made in terms of stopping the war between Ukraine and Russia, or ending the war. Substantial progress. Now, I'm not sure what substantial means. No one has asked the question as yet. What substantial? What do you mean by substantial progress is being made, Mr. President? No one has asked that question. However, what I'm being told is that more talks, that they're going to have more talks today, and if Zelensky agrees to, obviously, when Donald Trump met with Putin, Putin put some things on the table, and so Donald Trump will meet with Zelensky later on today, after this press conference, and put those talking points on the table. If Zelensky agrees, then I guess they will move to the next step, which is to have a trilateral discussions between the U.S., Ukraine, and Russia, with, I guess, U.S. as the mediator. So it's substantial because Zelensky is meeting with Russia, with Donald Trump, to discuss any bone of contention and any agreement that they may have on the table, that they're looking any kind of resolution that they're willing to engage in. I'm not sure now if Zelensky agrees, then of course, but I don't know if they're going to agree. But what we know is that a trilateral meeting is what they're hoping for, depending on the talks that they have today. So the substantial progress is that they're having more talks that will lead to a trilateral agreement that will lead to a ceasefire, I guess. I don't know if that's substantial, because we've heard this. But what we've heard from Donald Trump is that they've said, what if this doesn't work? Well, it's Biden's war. Now, Donald Trump has a tendency of saying it's Biden's war, or it's Obama, or whatever. And he does so to deflect blame. Just in case something doesn't work out, then he doesn't take responsibility. He shifts and blame to people to his predecessors. And I think that's what's happening here when Donald Trump constantly say it's a Biden war. Because Donald Trump has said once he steps into office, he's going to end the war between Ukraine and Russia. That hasn't happened. He's been in office for over 100 days, yes? But the war continues on between Russia and Ukraine. And so now he can say, well, it's not my war, it's Biden's war. But they're having discussions today. What's different in the meeting today is that, first of all, Zelensky was chastised for not wearing a uniform. So today he showed up at the meeting wearing a uniform. You saw that? He's wearing a uniform today. Sorry, not a uniform, a suit. A jacket suit. Very interesting jacket suit. Very nice jacket suit. And of course, the Oval Office looks entirely gold. It's so gold.
It's horrible.
It's gold. It looks like the Trump Tower.
Because of the children and the children's future. Why did the First Lady feel that letter was necessary? Was it because she believes that Mr. Putin is the aggressor in the war? Is a similar letter being hand-delivered to President Zelensky?
So the First Lady felt very strongly. She's watched the same thing that you watch and that I watch. I see things that you don't get to see, and it's horrible. But when she's got a great love of children, she has a wonderful son that she loves, probably more than anybody, including me. I hate to say it, but she loves her son. She loves children.
Ain't that your son?
She used to see.
No, Donald Trump said that in this press conference, said I feel confident that they will resolve the war between Ukraine and Russia. But I'm saying that I don't know if if I am confident with those sentiments, because he said that when he gets in the office, he's going to end the war. Then they had a high stake meeting, spending billions of dollars.
Says it very openly, very proudly, and with great sorrow because so many people have been killed.
But they had a high stake meeting. Nothing was accomplished in those. I don't know what was accomplished, because that meeting could have. If they were gonna and Donald Trump looked quite uncomfortable at the meeting, because first of all, he wasted his time at this meeting. Yes.
If you were a world leader on a world stage, you come to meet the leader of the free world.
The leader, yes.
Y'all haven't met yet for your meeting. And this is what you're doing.
They had the meeting already.
No, he just got there.
Oh, well, I mean,
This is before the meeting. You know how it's like, what the fuck are we doing? We haven't agreed, we haven't said anything.
well, I
And we
mean,
having a meeting.
well, first of all, that's all they do: have meetings and talk. Okay.
We need maybe how to say we need the truth. Yes, everywhere the battlefield, in the sky, the sea. Yeah, to make it possible for people to.
Zelensky is saying that we need a truce everywhere, on the battlefield, in the sky, everywhere, the sea, to make it possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
Look, he's trying to. He's a.
We happen to be in a war with somebody. No more elections. I wonder what the fake
You heard what? Oh my! You heard what? That was inspirational. You have a war with somebody, no more elections.
That's what he said. Oh, that means I could do that.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
He's
that
hinting
means
at something. First of all, he's hinting at that. Maybe that's the better route. Start a war somewhere with someone, and so therefore,
Put other people's kids in
okay.
danger.
Now,
and
who would he start a war with, though?
Anybody. They don't
But
care.
I mean, at this
He
point,
don't care. The man is on his last breath.
does he want to start a war with Russia?
If you don't have,
Absolutely not.
I don't know why. That's who he claims to be so tough behind.
are told what to say. But, in solving all of these wars, they don't even write about it. I saw many wars. I saw wars.
You saw what the?
See,
Nobody looks at Trump solving anything. What
I
are
don't
you
know.
talking about?
First of all, the
You
war,
froze- you
the war
froze the
between
water
Hamas
for
and Israel is still
And
going
you cut
on.
off the
They, he cut off the food supply
But
in,
you solved the
yes,
war.
in Afghanistan.
You don't get information, so but you don't know.
The war in Russia and Ukraine, between those two countries, is still happening. I'm not sure what he has resolved. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah. But they had this high stake meeting, and he was clearly,
It is all
first of
about
all,
him, man. We got
the meeting that they had,
fighting, and he's talking about him.
the meeting they had with Putin, that should not have been a meeting between President Trump and President Putin. It should have been one of their diplomats meeting. Okay, because first of all, there was no decision was made. All they did was put some stuff on the table that they already had on the table. Okay? And first of all, when they sit down with Zelensky, you think that, what will Zelensky agree to? Is he going to agree to step down? Is he going to agree to give up lands? Zelensky will not agree to step down. It is not Russia's prerogative to ask a leader of a free independent country to step down in order for them to withdraw. That makes absolutely no sense. Okay? Secondly, giving up more land. No. They have already given up Crimea. Okay, they're not going to give up any more land. In fact, they should return the land that they have taken. Okay, so
He's talking
I'm not
about
sure.
everything but
Maybe give up their relationship with NATO. Maybe that's something that they can agree to. Maybe that is something that they can agree to. But I don't know if. But however, but US have an interest in Ukraine. So Ukraine is and any other country that have interest in Ukraine will maintain a security presence there.
he's talking about?
So what is he saying?
He's talking about DC being safe.
I mean, I don't know what he's talking about with DC being safe.
Because he took it over.
Of course, I mean, that's the idea, right? I mean, that's the issue of anything that he touches turns into gold, yeah?
turned into shit.
Anything that he touches turns into gold.
In his mind, that ain't the reality. That's the
Okay.
problem, and nobody's there to tell
And
him.
and if he touches it, and if he touches it and it doesn't turn into gold, he didn't touch it.
Yeah.
Okay, or something is wrong there. It's gold. You're not looking at.
Or it's
I mean,
fake news.
you're not. No, you're not looking at the right thing.
Yeah, or
It
it's
is
fake
gold.
news. Or it's fake news.
Or he didn't really touch it. Or somebody, or Biden touched it.
Well, you know it started.
Biden touched it. Biden tainted it, so that's why it's not good.
I used to come at Kareem.
Severe consequences if a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia. Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of
You need a ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I've settled this year, they were over the war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand.
He said he doesn't do ceasefires.
One country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we make peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like? I like the concept. You know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you stop killing people immediately, as opposed to 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made.
Disadvantage for who?
Mention of the words ceasefire.
I'm not understand. What is he talking about?
I don't
Wait,
know.
hold up. Stopping the stop fighting, or it's going. Hold up. It's
Might be a good deal.
because it's a disadvantage for one side or the other to have ceasefire that was gonna discontinue the killing of lives. That makes absolutely no sense. I don't know if he knows what he's talking about. And he knows ceasefire. Russia is ceasefire is not going to work. He said, no, we're just going to end the war. So they'll continue to fight. And okay,
Waiting for us. They are, I think they're very like-minded. They want to help out also.
You see Zelensky? You see him raise his eyebrows? Like,
he raised his eyebrow, yes, because I don't know what Donald Trump just said just now. It makes no sense. About ceasefire is an advantage for one. It's probably is for one side. That makes absolutely no sense. I'm not sure what he's talking about. He should not say anything else.
President Zelensky, how much more do you want?
Well, I'll start off just by saying we're not giving anything now. We're selling weapons. This is something before, I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden, a corrupt politician.
what
Not a
is this?
By the way, go back 40 years. He was not a smart man 40 years ago either. But now he's in particular bad. This was done by a corrupt
This is a
administration.
child.
Shouldn't have been in.
This is a child.
Frankly,
When he has nothing else to say, when you don't have anything good to say, you don't have anything substantial in the content, you revert to that, to fart, to air like that. What does Joe Biden have to do? Because first of all, we're not hearing anything new. This war will not be resolved. They know that already. Zelensky is not going to agree to anything what they're presenting. Okay, it's not going to turn out good. Okay? The war will continue. I am telling you this right now.
he was just a horrible, corrupt president.
What the hell is going? What the hell is? Hold up.
We're thankful for this program and this opportunity. We're thankful for your they pay for this. And so we need a program for Renaldo. And etc. We have some programs where we can have some money to finance this, and this is the part I think.
Oh, so the U.S. is not going to sorry, the U.S. will not donate weapons to them. They are going to sell them the weapon, but apparently they are going to have a standby, some kind of loan agreement, where they will give them the guns, and they over time they'll either pay them back, they'll give them land, minerals, or give them profits from minerals or something of the sort. I think that's what's happening here.
So many air defense like Patriots, for example, we need it very much, and this is also about defending.
Okay, so what the Donald Trump is saying that they're going to give them the weapons that they need. The Biden didn't get, Biden wasn't making wasn't negotiating a deal that involves giving them the weapons that they need. It was more on the issue of aid, and they would not aid them. But
Somebody must have just told him that today,
what's that?
of what the weapon does.
NATO does, I don't know what the arrangement is that you have with, but I know that they want you to have the equipment. And we're getting the best equipment in the world, but they pay us for the equipment. Under Biden, it was.
What the f*** anything to do with this?
I think it could be $350 billion worth of equipment and money and everything else. And
Always about the money.
in settling this war in the last 2
Just a
months.
complete buffoon.
The U.S. is going to own Ukraine. They're giving them $350 billion. Sorry. They're going to sell them. Where does Ukraine have? You think Ukraine has $350 billion? They don't have $350 billion. So obviously, they are making a deal. A deal will involve some kind of security, some kind of protection. Okay, we'll give you the weapons, and if you provide.
What are you talking about now?
We get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses it because of what's happened. Massive fraud all over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper.
So he wants to use executive order to stop mail ballots and the use of machines in elections to count the elections. So it's quite interesting. Now they're talking about domestic policy and domestic affairs.
Many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important.
Isn't a mail-in ballot a paper ballot?
Mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in voting, even Jimmy Carter with this commission.
Paper ballots are mail-ins.
Yeah. Yeah, you mail it in. That's true. Yeah, they're paper ballots. So what he means is like absentee ballots. Right, that's what he's talking about. But
Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and
a lot of African Americans use
What the fuck
mail-in
is he
ballots.
talking
So.
about?
they're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed.
I think Donald Trump knows that probably what's going to happen. The House, and the House, they're going to lose the House in the midterms, and they're going to lose a lot, not just the House, and they're going to lose local election. It's going to be a sweep, and he won't be able to do anything. Okay. And he's doing it, and he already knows, he's seen the writing on the wall, and he is doing everything from executive, taking some kind of executive action, putting police on, trying to take over police force in some of the black cities, changing access, and so it's quite interesting. So yes, they're doing. Let me tell you, he's doing everything he can. And what he's doing, he's throwing he's shooting, he's throwing darts everywhere to see what ever
Hold up, look at his people. They look uncomfortable.
Yeah, because they're talking about
sounds
domestic.
crazy.
They're talking about domestic policy, not about the war.
Because it's about him.
3 months, not one person came in illegally into our country. In fact, even
But then how do you need?
Hold on. This seems to be a State of the Union address here. He's giving a State of the Union address. Now he's talking about immigration. So he talked about election. Now he's talking about immigration, as if he's
he's like, I'm not here for this.
As if he's campaigning. As if he's campaigning here. It's quite interesting. No, the press is trying to redirect what he's trying to redirect the conversation. They're asking what assurances do you need from the U.S. that they will stick with Ukraine? They're talking about the discussion. We'll talk about the need for security and training.
American troops to that NATO-like protection in order to get President Zelensky to admit today.
Well, I don't know if you define it that way, but NATO-like, I mean, we have people waiting in another room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe, and they want to give protection. They feel very strongly about it, and we'll help them out with that. I think it's very important. I think it's very important to get the deal.
You've been involved with the peace mechanisms across the administration. What would you say to the Ukrainian people right now who are suffering under the Russian attacks and hoping that the American people will stand with them?
Well, I know Ukrainian people. I've known many over the years. They're great people. They're smart. They're energetic. They love their country. I mean, they love their country. And we want to get this war ended. That's all I can do. I love the Ukrainian people, but I love all people. I love the Russian people. I love them all. I want to get the war stopped. Very important.
Mr. President, was there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trial. If we don't have a trial, then the fighting continues. And we have a good chance. I think if we have a trial, it's a good chance.
No, there's not going to be a trial. He doesn't sound confident at all. Okay, these meetings are just saving face or whatever.
Thank you very much.
Then he says, thank you very much. The meeting has ended. He does not sound confident. There's not going to be a trilateral meeting. And I'm telling you this. Nothing was achieved from these meetings. The U.S. invested billions of dollars in to have this meeting between Putin and Trump, and then they had a follow-up meeting here with European leaders. They're not going to. The European leaders and Zelensky will not agree to whatever Trump is going to sell from Putin to them. And and then when Putin makes the call after these meetings, they're not going to agree to the trilateral. Nothing, and the fighting will continue, and they're not going to have a ceasefire. And Donald Trump already knows that. He already looks disappointed, and he ended the meeting as soon as the right question was asked. Okay, the right question was asked, and he said, "Thank you, everybody." There is nothing. And then he was talking about domestic policy. He shifted attention from the war here to talk about domestic policy, and then started to blame Biden. When he talks like this, it means then there is nothing here. There's nothing. He talked about substantial progress. What substantial progress? Did you talk about the substantial progress? Well, if there's an agreement, then we can have a trial at a millimeter. And then what are you talking about? We're at the same place. And then it's not my war, it's Biden war. He's already blaming Biden because he knows that all of these talks it will end up nowhere. Ridiculous. The media and the press conference been wasting our time following these talks and following these conversations. Nothing is going to happen. He wasted his time spending billions of dollars in taxpayer dollars having these talks. It's much ado about nothing. Okay? Nothing. All Donald Trump does is talk. He's a talker. That's all he's does. Okay? Ridiculous. No, it's not going to lead to a trial. It may or may not. The fact that we said may not already suggests you already know that it's not going to be a trilateral.
Seen anything, shall we say, remotely like that?
Ridiculous. The Neoliberal podcast.